Hey there, it's Ben from patternprofits.net. Following up on the video I did earlier with the focus list, this one is going to um, dive in more on the velocity scan and the power scan. These are the ones that I use. The velocity scan is daily to highlight big money flow in some of the low float names. And then I have the power scan, which I use to highlight relative strength. So I'm going to go through a few of the standouts from those screens heading in to next week. The first one you see here is Designer Brands Inc. One of the biggest differences you'll notice with these compared to the ones I shared with you earlier, the ones earlier are typical can slim names, strong fundamentals, strong growth estimates. These are more technical, not so much worried about what the fundamentals are because we're going to be in and out of them rather quickly. Sometimes it's only a 1 to 3 day trade. Sometimes it's just a day trade actually. So the quality is going to be different as far as if you're looking into the fundamentals. But from a technical standpoint, this is what we like to see. This big volume down here is really what puts it on my scan. This is what gets it on the power scan or gets it on the daily velocity scan. And then we see this nice little tight consolidation up high, little triangle pattern. Love when it's sitting on the volume shelf. You have an inside day here. Anchored VWAP from the gap is just below. So what you're looking for is for that inside day to come out, breaks the descending trend line, and hopefully we get a big pop there. And like I said, 1 to 3 days usually captures a majority of the move in and out and on to the next, so you can compound those gains. Next one I want to show you, ICLK. I mentioned this one on FinTwit late last week, setting up, and this one multiple flags here. Big move here. This is basically what puts it on my radar. Big volume again. When we see this big uptrend or flagpole, it flags, pops out. It's done that a couple times, and you got this nice big move here, and it's above anchored VWAP from that move. Again, a little descending trend line up top. I'll throw the 8 EMA on here just so you can get an idea of how to trade these, because this is a popular indicator, the 8 period moving average on these type of trades for swing traders, not so much for day traders, but a lot of swing traders that I know use the 8 exponential moving average for these type of trades. You can see it found the support here, nice pop. So that's basically what we would be looking for, is for it to come out of this little flag again with a nice pop. And when these are popping 10%, 20% or more a day, I'll show you one later that was 45% in one day. You want to get in and get out rather quickly, lock in your gain while the market's hot, and move on to the next one. This is another one, a lot of eyes on this one, Luminar laser. Been waiting for it to come out of this pattern, sitting on the volume shelf, volume point of control, kind of in a little bit of a pinch again there. So looking for that one to make the turn, break the descending trend line, and come out of that consolidation. Again, this type of volume, this type of move is what puts it on my radar. I'm not looking to get involved, back here. I'm looking for this type of consolidation, something I can bench my risk against, and for the price action to kind of calm down rather than trying to jump into something like this. And again, I'll show you why shortly, but we're looking for this one to make the turn and come out of that triangle. MP is another one, kind of a similar setup. Again, triangle, just having a rough time getting through that triangle, but does have the volume shelf just below. Moving averages are starting to tighten up, could be a little bit tighter to provide support, but we're looking for that breakthrough of the triangle, descending trend line. You actually have a decent target up here, the prior high, of 4074 if you're looking for that type of move. But this, from my experience, when they do come out of this and it's time, it usually gets to this in a day or two, and sometimes even more. So a lot of eyes on this one too, but when it comes out, I do expect that move will be quite explosive. Nano-X, another one. This one's interesting. Let me get that heat period off of there. You got a little cup pattern, 6918 pivot. Had a nice move, a big move and quick gain. Then it kind of settled back in. You had nice volume here and also back here. That's what kind of puts it again on the scan on the radar. Then you get this pullback back into the pivot. You have a descending trend line here. You're looking for that to push through and come on out of there. It did reclaim the pivot late on Friday, but again, kind of rejected off that descending trend line. So look for that one to make the turn and come out of there. Again, one that can move in a hurry. So as it comes out, if it means business, should see big volume and should get going in a hurry. Another one. Now this one, most of you will know because we've talked about this one for quite a while. A little different pattern from the other ones I showed, not a flag pattern, but more of a consolidation. Up here is high. I mentioned this on FinTwit that this was kind of an odd pattern going on here, and then it did end up shaking out, but quickly recovered, and now we're 50.45 is the all-time high and pushing right up against it. I don't like this declining volume on the way up, but that's not a big deal to me unless we see light volume on the breakout. I see it and I'm aware of it, but that's not a deal breaker because it's not breaking out of a flag. It's not breaking a descending trend line. It's still below the pivot. So judge this volume wise. Once it comes through the pivot, that's when you want to pay attention to the volume very carefully, look at it very closely, and then make decisions based on what that volume looks like. Let me say one more thing about this one. When you have great fundamentals, great relative strength, a good group, a great story, that's the best combination because something like this, even if you're late to the party here and coming in late, there's still the potential for this to grab more as far as gains if you were a longer term trader investor. Whereas most of these other ones that I pointed out did not have the fundamentals, the group strength, the story behind them. It's purely a technical play. There's actually a story and some great numbers behind this one. RVP, Retractable Technologies, I actually took this one on Friday as it came above anchored VWAP off the high and started to break the trend line. It ended up pulling back later in the session, but I'm looking for this one to come out of this flag inside day here. So when the inside day comes out, should mean business. Big volume. You see these big green volume bars. I would expect another big green volume bar as that one comes out of there. They are needles, and those happen to be quite in demand at the moment. Sorrento, you won't see me trading this one, but I included it for my biotech friends. Kind of a little pennant formation up here, holding anchored VWAP off of this big move here. Probably just waiting for the moving averages to catch up. If we bring this over, yeah, you can see how it's kind of sitting right on the volume shelf of this little consolidation. So look for that one to come through there, breakout, and then again, it's the big volume that puts it on my radar. We'd expect to see big volume as that one moves out. I want to share this one with you because we talked about this one last week, highlighted it, and it made the move that I'm discussing and talking about. So this type of move puts it on my radar. I wait for it to consolidate. We get this big long consolidation, and then it comes out of the pinch and absolutely explodes. 40, 45%. I think this was up on that day. Um, so then you got to take some profits in this, by the way. If you're holding that whole thing on a 45% day, that's not really the way you want to approach these. I can understand still holding and riding a portion, but you really want to lock something in. Anything moves 20, 30, 40% in a day. You want to lock up at least a portion of that. If not, you set yourself up for this the following day, when it gives a big chunk of it back. But it's an inside day here, so this inside day comes out, or this continues to drift in and come in, maybe even has a look of like one that could be inside for a couple days before it goes again. But this is the type of move that we want to see out of the other ones that I highlighted for you. Volume pop, not as big as back here, but it's still obvious the volume came in, and that's the type of move that you want to get involved in. And try to see it coming when you have this big long consolidation, volume gets real quiet, and then you get the pop. So hope this helps you understand how I use both the daily velocity scan and the power scan.